The galaxy was wide and endless, filled with millions of stars and thousands of civilizations. Yet even in this great expanse there were stories that lived longer than empires, stories that could not be erased by time. Among them was the tale of a race that was not supposed to exist anymore. They were called humans. Aliens spoke about them in whispers. To some, they were no more than a bedtime myth told to frighten children. To others, they were old legends of warriors who once burned across the stars and then vanished without leaving a trace. For centuries, no one had seen them. For centuries, their name became a ghost on alien tongues. In the grand halls of alien councils, leaders debated. Records from forgotten archives hinted at a species that rose from a small blue planet near a yellow sun. They were described as short-lived but stubborn, weak in body but powerful in mind. They were said to adapt faster than any other known race. Some ancient texts even claimed that humans once fought against stronger enemies and still survived. But these were only words. No evidence remained. Civilizations laughed at the idea. Humans are stories, they said. A trick of history. And yet the fear never completely died. For in quiet corners of the galaxy, strange things had begun to appear. Broken signals on long-range scanners, faint messages that no machine could fully decode. Ghost ships drifting through empty sectors, their design unlike anything known. At first, many ignored these signs. But over time, the number of reports grew. A scout ship from the Valari Empire claimed it had seen moving shadows on the edge of an uncharted system. A trade vessel from the Jorak Coalition returned home trembling, saying it had been watched by ships that disappeared when chased. Even pirates spoke of losing entire crews after crossing into a region of space where no maps existed. Fear spread like smoke through the stars. Some believed it was a new enemy. Others whispered an older truth. It is them, they said. The forgotten ones, the humans. In a dark chamber, a council of alien leaders gathered. Their faces were hard, their voices sharp. The oldest among them slammed his hand on the table and declared, "If humans are truly out there, then they are a danger. Legends say they never stop. Legends say they return stronger after every defeat." Another leader shook his head. "Foolishness. These are shadows and rumors. No human fleet exists. They destroyed themselves long ago. Their planet is dust." But even as he spoke, unease spread across the room. Because deep down, every civilization remembered the same thing. Humans were unpredictable. They were not the strongest. They were not the fastest. They were not the most advanced. Yet history showed that when humans entered a war, they did not fight to survive. They fought to win. And they always found a way. Outside of the council chambers, across countless worlds, common people began to wonder. Could it be true? Could humans still be alive? To most, the idea was terrifying. To a few, it was exciting. Because if the myths were real, then the galaxy was about to change forever. Unknown to all, the truth was waiting in silence. Far away in the black sea of space, something was moving. A fleet unlike any other had begun its march. Thousands of ships forged in secret, hidden from alien eyes for generations. Their hulls were sharp, their weapons silent but deadly. Their engines glowed with power not seen before. And at the front of this armada, a single ship carried a message. It was simple. It was clear. It was human. The aliens did not yet know. They still argued in their councils, still dismissed the warnings, still called humans a myth. But the myth was real. The myth was alive, and soon it would no longer hide. Somewhere in the endless dark, a voice prepared to speak again after centuries of silence. A voice that would echo across every world, every empire, every race. We are not gone. We are not forgotten. We are human. The legends were about to become truth. The stories were about to walk again. And the galaxy, whether ready or not, would soon remember the name that it had tried so hard to bury. Because humanity was returning. Across the galaxy, the Alien High Council met once again. It was held in the Hall of Concord, a massive chamber carved from a floating asteroid. Hundreds of voices echoed through the chamber, each one belonging to a different species, each one carrying fear beneath its words. The reports were too many now. They could not be ignored. Scout ships missing, entire fleets vanishing without explanation, traders speaking of shadows that followed their ships, energy readings that appeared and then disappeared in the span of seconds. Something was moving in the dark, and it was unlike anything the Council had seen before. One of the Valari envoys stood, her scales shining under the chamber's light. "We must prepare for war," she declared. These signs are not the work of pirates or unknown factions. This is a power that knows how to hide, a power that waits. If it is them, then we face an enemy from legend. The word hung in the air, them. No one wanted to say it aloud, but all knew who she meant. Humans. A thick silence spread until the elder of the Jorak coalition broke it with laughter. His voice was sharp, cruel, almost mocking. You all waste your time chasing ghosts. Humans are not real. They are the invention of old soldiers who needed to explain their failures. If humans truly existed, we would have seen them by now. No race can vanish for thousands of years and return with such power. This is nonsense, but his words did not bring comfort. Instead, they deepened the unease, because there were too many signs, too many unexplained losses, too many mysteries that fit into the old stories. The Krau representative leaned forward, her mandibles clicking nervously. I have seen the records, she said. Ancient battles fought on the rim of the galaxy. Entire empires destroyed, not by numbers but by will. The archives say humans fought like fire. They burned themselves if it meant victory. Can any of us deny that the recent disappearances look too familiar? Her words sent a wave of murmurs across the chamber. The old legends described humans as relentless, fragile in body, yet capable of surviving wounds that would kill stronger species, limited in strength, yet able to build machines that extended their reach far beyond their own flesh. And most terrifying of all, the legends spoke of their unity in times of war. No matter how divided, no matter how broken, when the final moment came, humans would stand together. A younger alien, representing the Varen Dominion, whispered to his neighbor, but his words carried across the hall. If they are back, what will they want? No one answered. Another representative stood, her voice trembling. If the humans survived, then they have been hiding. Why, for what purpose? Do they prepare revenge against those who once hunted them, or do they want to conquer all of us? The hall shook with voices. Some demanded the search for humans be ended before it was too late. Others argued it was foolish to chase shadows. Fear and denial clashed in the air like blades. But amid the chaos, one truth began to take shape. The council could not agree, but none could escape the feeling that something was coming. Something that would not stop. While the council argued, far away, smaller groups of aliens whispered among themselves. Soldiers remembered the stories told by their ancestors. Merchants worried about trade routes that no longer seemed safe. Even common citizens living their quiet lives under alien suns began to speak of old myths. The word human became dangerous, something said with fear or sometimes with awe. In hidden corners, secret societies began to form. Some prayed for humans to return, hoping they would bring change. Others prepared weapons, swearing to strike first before the legends came true. Across the galaxy, the idea of humans was no longer a joke. It was a shadow creeping into every mind. But the greatest mistake of all was that the council believed they still had time. They thought they could debate, argue, and wait. They thought the humans, if real, were still far away. They believed they could prepare before meeting them face to face. They were wrong. Even as the council met, even as they raised their voices and argued over myths, the first human ships had already crossed into alien space. Silent, unseen, watching. The humans did not announce themselves. Not yet. They were patient, like hunters waiting in the forest. They studied their prey, measuring strengths and weaknesses. They listened to transmissions, learning languages, learning fears. The aliens thought they were the ones searching for answers. They did not know that they were the ones being studied. In the deep black of space, human ships moved like ghosts. Their hulls reflected no light, their engines gave no trace. To alien eyes, they were invisible. To human eyes, the galaxy was open. Every world, every ship, every council member, they were already within reach. The legends were not only true, they were watching. And soon the galaxy would learn the one truth it had forgotten. Humans never stopped once they had begun. The council, still blind to the danger, continued their debate. Some laughed, some trembled, some shouted for action. None realized that history was about to turn, and it would not turn slowly. Because out there, beyond their sight, humanity had already chosen its path, and that path led straight toward them. Far beyond the busy centers of alien civilization, past the mapped routes and guarded sectors, there was a quiet blue world circling a yellow star. To the galaxy, it was forgotten. To the records of alien empires, it was marked as dead, a ruined place left behind after ancient wars. But the records were wrong. Earth lived. For centuries, humans had watched the galaxy from the shadows. They listened to transmissions that crossed the void. They studied the wars, the rises and falls of empires, the endless hunger of alien powers. And while the galaxy laughed at their memory, humanity grew. The Earth of old was fragile, divided, broken by wars and greed. But that Earth was gone. The new Earth had changed. Its people learned from every mistake, every scar left by their ancestors. They remembered the wars that nearly ended them, and they swore never to fall again. Deep under oceans, in vast hidden caverns, and inside orbiting stations invisible to alien eyes, humanity built its strength. Ships like steel giants rested in silence, waiting for the day they would rise. Weapons were crafted not only for destruction, but for survival against greater powers. Machines, sleek and fast, carried the mark of a race that had learned to adapt to every challenge. And at the center of it all was the fleet. The Earth fleet was unlike anything the galaxy had ever known. It was not the largest fleet in numbers. It was not the heaviest in armor. But it was built with something no alien empire had: human spirit. Each ship carried not only weapons but history. Names carved into the hulls honored cities, rivers, mountains, and lost ancestors. To every human, the fleet was more than steel. It was identity. It was survival. It was proof that humanity had not only endured but become something greater. Generations had trained in silence. Pilots who never knew alien skies learned to fly among stars. Engineers who grew up in underground cities built engines that could outlast suns. Scientists who studied whispers of alien signals created machines that could turn enemy strengths into weaknesses. Every child on Earth was raised knowing one truth: the galaxy had forgotten them, and one day the galaxy would remember. But humanity had not remained only on Earth. Quietly, secretly, they had spread. Colonies on hidden moons, mining stations buried under asteroid belts, outposts disguised as ruins. Everywhere the galaxy did not look, humans had already been there. They did not announce themselves. They did not wave their flag. They waited, and while they waited, they watched. From their hidden networks, humans intercepted alien transmissions. They learned of the Alien Council's arguments. They knew the galaxy still called them myths. This knowledge did not anger them. It amused them, for there was power in being forgotten. There was advantage in being underestimated. The decision to stay silent for centuries was not weakness. It was strategy. Humanity had been broken before by revealing themselves too early. They had paid the price of arrogance. They would not repeat it. They would let the galaxy grow lazy, comfortable, blind to shadows. And then, when the time was right, they would return, not as survivors but as hunters. One man stood at the center of this plan. Admiral Marcus Hale, commander of the Earth Fleet, carried the weight of generations. He was not the strongest nor the most brilliant, but he carried something rarer. He carried belief. When he looked at the stars, he did not see enemies too powerful to fight. He saw challenges waiting to be met. Standing on the bridge of his flagship, the Eternity Spear, he spoke the words that echoed across every hidden station and colony. They think we are gone. They think we are a story. But we are here. We are ready, and we are coming. His words were met with silence at first, but it was the silence of steel being forged. Every pilot, every soldier, every engineer knew what was coming. They would rise not as ghosts, but as legends made flesh, and the galaxy would never be the same. On the dark edge of alien space, the first movements had begun. Small fleets slipped between patrol routes unseen. Scouts entered systems under stealth. Human eyes scanned alien worlds for weaknesses. They did not strike yet. They prepared. To the galaxy, nothing seemed to change. Empires argued. Councils met. Traders carried goods across the stars. Life continued as it always had. But behind this mask of normality, history was shifting. The humans were awake. And soon their silence would end. The border of the Valari Empire was quiet that night. Patrol ships drifted through empty space, scanning for smugglers and pirates. The stars burned cold and still. To the crews, it felt like any other routine watch, but silence often hides the loudest storm. On the bridge of the Valari patrol vessel Serac, Captain Drenor leaned back in his chair, half bored. His crew reported nothing unusual. Their scanners showed only dust, asteroids, and faint radiation. But then, without warning, the sensors flickered. Strange signals appeared and vanished like shadows moving in the dark. The officer at the console frowned. "Captain, something is there." Drenor straightened. "Pirates?" The officer shook his head. "No, the readings are strange. They do not match any known design. Their power is too steady. Their signatures are hidden." Before he could say more, the view screen lit up. Shapes emerged from the darkness. At first, they looked like stars shifting position. But then the stars moved closer, forming outlines, forming ships. And then the fleet appeared. Dozens at first, then hundreds. Black hulls that reflected no light, sharp like blades, vast like mountains. Their formation was precise, every movement in perfect silence. No banners, no signals, only presence. The Valari crew froze. Their hearts pounded in fear. "Identify them!" Captain Drenor shouted. The officer's voice trembled. "No record. No empire matches this fleet. They are unknown, unknown." The word sent a chill through every alien aboard. Then a voice came through their comm system. "Calm. Human. This is Admiral Marcus Hale of the Earth Fleet. To the Valari Patrol. You are in no danger. Do not fire. We are not here for war." The crew stared in shock. The language was clear. The voice was real. And the word he spoke, Earth, was one they had only heard in myths. "Humans," someone whispered. The captain could not believe it. Impossible. But it was no illusion. The voice continued, firm but steady. "For centuries your people called us myths. For centuries you believed we had destroyed ourselves. But we endured. We survived, and we are here." Every word struck like thunder. The aliens had argued in their councils. They had laughed at old soldiers who swore humans once existed. Now the truth floated before them in cold steel. The Valari patrol ship, small and fragile before the massive fleet, did not fire. It could not. It was as if history itself had entered their space. Admiral Hale's voice softened, but it carried weight. "We did not come to conquer. We did not come to beg. We came because the galaxy must remember. Humanity is not gone. Humanity has returned." Then the transmission ended. The patrol crew sat in silence. The captain's claws tapped against the console, his mind racing. He knew what this meant. This single contact would spread like fire. Within days, every empire, every council, every citizen in the galaxy would know the truth. The humans were alive, and they were no longer hiding. The Valari Empire reported the sighting within hours. At first, leaders dismissed it as a trick, a false signal, a pirate scheme, but then more reports arrived. Entire fleets had seen the same dark ships. Traders swore they had passed human patrols. Miners claimed to hear human voices over old frequencies. The council tried to silence the rumors, but it was too late. The galaxy had seen. On distant worlds, ordinary aliens stopped in their tracks as the news spread. Children whispered the name human with awe. Soldiers tightened their grip on weapons, remembering the old tales of human wars. Leaders gathered in emergency meetings, fear written across their faces. The return of humans was no longer a question. It was reality. But what unsettled the galaxy most was not the power of the human fleet. It was the way they appeared. Silent, coordinated, patient. They had chosen the moment of return carefully. They had revealed themselves not in weakness but in strength. In the council chamber, voices clashed once again. Some cried for alliances, desperate to gain human favor. Others shouted for war, claiming the galaxy must crush them before they spread. But underneath every word was fear. Fear of what it meant that a race once thought destroyed had risen again, stronger than ever. Meanwhile, aboard the Eternity's Spear, Admiral Hale stood before his officers. "They have seen us," he said. "The first step is done." One of his commanders asked, "Do you think they will accept us?" Hale's eyes were steady. "They will not have a choice. The galaxy must learn. We are not legends. We are not shadows. We are human." The officers saluted. Across the fleet, engines roared. The ship spread wider into alien space, no longer hiding, no longer silent. The galaxy had wanted to forget. But humans had returned, and the age of silence was over. The first contact had been made, and it was only the beginning. The galaxy had seen strange things before. Civilizations rose and fell. Wars burned entire systems to ash. Empires claimed they would last forever, and then disappeared into dust. But never in all its long memory had the galaxy seen what was now spreading across the stars: humanity. At first, the sighting of Earth's fleet was treated like rumor. Then it became news. Then it became truth. And with truth came fear. On the worlds of the Valari, citizens gathered around screens, watching grainy recordings of the dark fleet that had appeared out of nothing. In the Dominion, soldiers stood in silence as their commanders replayed Admiral Hale's words, the calm declaration of survival. Across the Empire lines, the word human became more than a whisper. It became a storm. The alien High Council met again, but this time the chamber was filled not with laughter or denial, but with silence. Every delegate knew. Every delegate had seen. They could not bury the truth. The representative of the Kraal broke the silence. Her mandibles clicked as she spoke. We laughed at shadows. Now the shadows have eyes. The humans live, and they come with fire. The elder of the Jorak, who once dismissed the idea as nonsense, bowed his head. We thought them gone. We thought ourselves safe. But legends do not die. The council fell into chaos. Some screamed for unity against the humans. Others begged for diplomacy before it was too late. No agreement came. But it did not matter, because outside the chamber in the cold dark, the decision had already been made. Humanity had revealed itself, and it would not vanish again. The first true sight of Earth's fleet burned into every memory. Thousands of ships moved like one, engines glowing faintly against the void. They were not the largest ships the galaxy had ever seen, but they carried an aura that no empire could match. They moved with purpose. They moved with will. And they moved as if the stars themselves belonged to them. The Valari Navy attempted to shadow them. A dozen cruisers followed a human formation through the border sectors. But within minutes, they vanished. No wreckage. No signals, nothing. Only a warning broadcast left behind, calm and sharp. We are not here for conquest. But if you test us, we will end you. The message spread faster than fire. Empires trembled. Some believed humanity was unstoppable. Others still thought it was a bluff. But the fear was real, and fear was power. On a mining moon of the Veyron Dominion, workers whispered as they looked up into the night sky. They swore they could see human ships moving like shadows between the stars. In the markets of the Jorak, merchants refused to sail certain routes, afraid of vanishing into the dark where the humans waited. Even pirates, the fearless scourge of trade routes, abandoned whole sectors, muttering of silent ships and eyes that watched from nowhere. The galaxy was beginning to bend, not by war, but by presence. Humanity had returned, and even before firing a single shot, they had changed everything. Inside the Eternity Spear, Admiral Marcus Hale stood with his officers. Before them was a vast map of the galaxy. Its empires glowed in different colors. Its borders pulsed with light. Hale raised his hand, and a new mark spread across the map. It was Earth's mark. They know us now, he said. His voice carried not excitement, not pride, but cold certainty. They thought us gone. They thought us weak, but we survived, we waited, and now we move. A young officer asked the question many feared to voice. Admiral, what is our goal? Hale's eyes lingered on the stars. Our goal is simple. We will not beg for a place. We will not crawl at their feet. We will not be myths. Humanity will stand where it belongs among the stars, and they will never again forget our name. His words spread across the fleet, through encrypted channels to every hidden colony, every outpost, every child who had been raised with the story of a return. For centuries they had carried silence. Now they carried destiny. And across the galaxy, alien hearts trembled because humans were not only back. They were stronger. They were united. And they carried something the galaxy could not understand. Something more dangerous than weapons, more powerful than fleets. They carried belief. The final transmission sent to the council arrived days later. It was short. It was direct. A human voice spoke, calm, cold. They believed we were only stories. But stories have power, and humans are always more than legends. Then the transmission ended. Across the stars, silence followed. A silence deeper than fear. A silence that meant the galaxy understood. The age of humans had begun.